from Amazon. It comes in a box like this. Out of the box you'll get this. Of course, the unit itself, power cord attached, you'll get a handle that you'll have to attach, and a set of instructions to follow. First of all, they give you a nice little thank you to get started. They remind you that, hey, we're in your neighborhood, so that you can find more information, and the 3 quick, easy ways to replace your bags that you're going to need to know eventually. But then, this is what you're going to have to pay attention to get started here, is the assembly and operation instructions to get started. Honestly, are not very hard at all. Basically, attach the handle, wrap the cord, and if yours is the RF or RS, you'll need to pull the little plastic strip that is down at the handle. Then you get the manual. Here's your 7-year warranty information. The next sheet of paper was the 5 tune-ups. So they give you, that says, to the original owner, 5 tune-ups during the warranty period of the following information: checking and repairing different things, including replacing the inner bag. I thought this was really impressive. The first impression is that I'm really impressed with what I found out of the box. So this unit seems really nice to me at first. Now first, the marvel to me is how light this thing is. So I can bend down here, lift it up. This thing is light as can be for the most part. It's easy for me to lift with one hand. Now the funny thing is, it seemed to me that half the weight, and that's probably not literally half the weight, is the cord itself. When you lift it before you attach it for the first time, it seems really light, and the cord, you're like, wow, this little block of cord seems pretty heavy. But you wrap it around, and it's pretty good. But there's a lot of cool little aspects to this thing that I was pretty impressed with. Now, one that's nice is, of course, you got the wireless controls at the top here to turn on high and low settings. We'll look at operation a bit later. It's nice that the unit can lay so flat, so let's go ahead and lay it down again so you see how easy it is to lay down. Then it also has a nice little thing on the back here for the cord. You see the cord clip right here? So you know how often with other vacuums, if you're like me, you plug something into the wall and then you're constantly holding the end of the cord in the other hand so you don't run over it with the bottom of the unit. So I thought it seemed pretty cool that you can go ahead and clip the cord up here just to give you a little bit more room between you and the wall, so that it gives you some more room. It's got nice rubberized wheels that I thought were pretty good down here that seem to make good contact with the floor and can move. I liked how easy it was to just put your foot here to release it from this position. So push back and it releases really easily. And it swivels really well. You see how easy this is? I mean, I'm just twisting my hand. So you can get around wherever you need to go. I also liked on the back here it has a carry handle. So this is where you're supposed to put your hand in and you can lift it and carry it around really easily. Again, this thing is really light. Now let's look at it in comparison to 2 other vacuums that I've had that I've both liked over the years. So of course we have the Oreck in the middle here, my Kenmore upright here on the left, which used to be my staple for carpets, and then I have my canister vacuum here. Now, I have a separate video review of this one. I've actually really liked this one at a point in time. It's good for its purposes. It's more nimble in some ways, but to carry, look at this one's much lighter for carrying around. This one has a retractable cord that winds up into the back of there, but otherwise you got 2 pieces to carry around, but overall might be lighter for some because the actual unit itself was, the brush control itself was simple, but then you got the whole bulkier thing to lug around with you. But it makes tighter turns and twists just like how this one can twist. Then I have my bigger, just standard Kenmore upright. It's a workhorse. It does the job, works fine on carpets. It's noisy. This one's nice and quiet. This one's called quiet. See my separate review for a comparison of those 2. But this one has attachments, and this one you can use brush attachments. This one is just the model itself. And I thought about that, and I actually think it's probably a good idea here, because that's what makes it simpler and easier, is just one unit, nothing to come apart, and that's probably one of the things that makes it simpler and lighter. So let's give it a spin. Let's start with our new Oreck upright that we have here. And so remember to get started. We'll go ahead and put our foot down here. Go ahead and lean it back. And you got your switches right on the top here. Remember, power will immediately go to high, but you have different low settings. So let's go ahead and turn it on. That's low. Now it's louder than I thought at first. It's about as louder than my Kenmore upright, and of course it's much louder than the supposedly quiet canister that I have sitting next to it there. But the suction seems really good as well. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see how nimble it is. And now let's go ahead and compare that to my Kenmore upright that I have sitting next to it here. So this one, to release it, I press a lever down here, and then I have buttons on the handle of this one. Now this one doesn't swivel at all. Remember, this one's swiveled, so let's do this again. And then lastly, let's compare it to my supposedly quiet canister. So go ahead and pick it down. Now this one has a button on the handle, but it's only for the brush on and off. You still turn the whole thing on from here. Now this is much quieter, but look, there's no like standing position. You notice how like when I'm done with this, what do? Set it down there. It has a little clip you're supposed to put on the back. See the review for that for more details on it, but this is nice. You see how easy I was able to stop, put it in upright position, and get it started again? That much is nice that it's really nimble. Now the first time I went to turn this on, it turned on and off right away the first few times. I could switch to low and high. But then after that, it stopped working. At first it wouldn't turn off. I had to unplug it from the wall in order to get it to turn off, and then after that, it wouldn't turn back on again. I tried the settings where they say you hold this button for 15 seconds, wait for the blue light at the end down there to flash to tell you that it's resynced again, but that still wouldn't work. It just seemed like the batteries were dead. This is the battery compartment. They say take a quarter. I just took a screwdriver and carefully opened it, and inside there is what looks like a watch battery, or it's a disc-shaped battery that was in there, and it's basically not making very good contact with a clip. So it's supposed to push in and I think clip to a piece, and basically it's always sticking out. I must be missing a barb or something, but after opening it and fudging with it a little bit, it just turned on again, and so now it's working again for my review. But that was probably the only disappointment I had with it. It's louder than I thought it would be, but it's probably because it's more powerful. But I just figure I'd call the phone number and go to the Oreck store and get that fixed or replaced. But glad it's working now. Now, room to room, it seems like the cord is long enough to reach for what I need out of most rooms, so I didn't really have a problem with that. Of course, it's really nice to be able to have a retractable cord that you can just press a button with your foot and have it take up the cord for you, but that's a whole different story to lug around a canister. So, moving it room to room, I did want to mention one thing. It's just sound-wise. You hear how if you drag it around, of course, it's so light you can lift it, or you just lift it from the bar here and it's not really a big deal. But whether it's the ball bearings, the rubber, and the floor, you can kind of hear the noise that it makes, which is a little different than the upright that I have here. Hear how nice and quiet that is for moving around. So when I'm going room to room with the vacuum, it's nothing. But of course, what are we talking about? When you turn the vacuums on, it's so noisy, you're not really talking about trying to be quiet to worry about anything. But that was a difference. But of course, you take something like this, lug it room to room, you got a whole different situation. The light on the front of the unit down here isn't that bright. So let's take a look. So if you're looking to light the room like a headlight on your way, like it might have done with my other unit here, I could go into a closet without worrying about it. It's not quite as bright as my other unit. So let's do some more vacuuming. Well, there you go. I think this one's best advantage is that it is so lightweight. It's so easy to carry it room to room or up and down stairs. To go up and down stairs with either the upright that I have here or the canister here, it's like lugging them. You grab two hands on the handle of this and lug it up the staircase. With this one, you got the big canister and the other item if you want to make two trips, or grab one in one hand and one in the other hand. It's nice that this one rotates at the base so you can kind of get angles. You could see when I showed an example earlier how it actually does help you get into spaces a little bit easier with a little bit less moving of your feet. Thanks for watching the review.